end game. And I think it's appropriate after however we want to count it, 1998, 16 years, whatever, of this program. And I think in light of the major age failure, in light of, as you say, the assessed valuation, where that was down, now it's coming back, I'll call it scenario planning. I think it was one of the international firms, Royal Dutch Shell, kind of got famous in the last 20, 30 years for their use of scenario planning. So one of the things that I'd appreciate you considering is to, as we're going forward here, to take a look at some if-then situations. I would hope that the board already is, in your private conversations within the school district and everything else, to be taking a look at, we've issued the $1.63 billion. All right, we got approved $1.63 billion from the voters. We've issued 1.037. We'll see this on the KPI report coming up. We've spent $994 as of August 20th. Again, this will be on the KPI report. So giving all these data points, it seems entirely appropriate for us to be talking about some if-then scenarios going forward. What if we don't get another bond measure approved? What are the scenarios? And I just would ask you to think along those lines, and then as we continue this conversation, to maybe come back and talk to us about some of those.
Charles, and then Dr. Thomas.
Charles Collins. Yeah, originally I tried to put an agenda item for a particular kind of scenario planning, and I hope that in the future we do something along these lines where the focus is, in terms of scenarios, is tackling different levels of resources. Because when you talk about priorities, I mean, I see that a lot when I was involved in the operations side of the budget, that you can talk about priorities, but what really matters is when you have to cut the budget, what do you cut? That's where you show your priorities. Or when you have more money, what do you spend it on? So originally I was going to, until I found out that Yvette had worked this thing out with you, where you would gradually develop this, that I wanted to introduce a resolution to just ask for different resource-based scenarios, like maybe a better way to phrase what those would be. But I was originally thinking of what happens if you don't have any debt ceiling waiver, you have a certain prediction for AD, what do you not do? I mean, you have things up there. I mean, and part of that's determined by what phase the project is in. But I would like to know, what do you not do under certain circumstances, and what do you do if, for instance, another bond is passed 2 years from now that's at the same level? And another factor in terms of the resources for the district in certain times is whether we get a debt ceiling waiver or not. That would release money earlier. So basically my add-on to what Tom is talking about in terms of scenario planning is that I'd like to see it in terms of cascading resource levels so that you can actually see more what priorities are in terms of decisions you make about what do you not do or what do you do.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Kelvin.
Kelvin.
Oh.
You can eat that.
Am I Dennis the man? Kelvin Love. The only thing in listening and everything, I work for a contractor, and every day of the week, every week of the month, we bid projects for school districts throughout the Bay Area that are at 50% plan development, 75% plan development, 85% plan development, and 100% plan development. And maybe doing something like that would help. It's very feasible to do, and to fine tune the budgets. And I would still like to get away from scope driven and just stick with plans and specs. And just so by the time you hit that 100% plan development, you pretty much know what the cost of the building is going to be. And through the course of the different steps that you're bidding it, because the plans take how long to develop? A year? And when you put it out to bid, it's still a public bid, but it's just at 85%. And the contractors will build it, everybody builds it, we do it every day. And so it might help to fine tune what you're able to do moving forward.
Okay, and then I'll have this.
Kids, yeah, right. In both the 11-12, 12-18 order, the orders indicates that there was was not enough funds to complete projects. They indicated, I think, in 2012, I think it was $53 billion on funding liability and 30-something in the 13 audit. The auditors are saying that of the projects that are in motion, there is not enough money to complete those projects. And then, of course, I know that there was a bond issue that recently failed. So my question is the auditors are saying that there is not enough money to complete the projects already on the drawing board, and already, and that the fund, they did use the term unfunded liability, which tells us that there is the liability out there. So if it's out there, and staff has never responded to those two audit findings, what happens? I mean, is there going to be, excuse me, is there going to be enough money to complete the existing projects that's on the drawing board?
Well, it really depends on what kind of bid climate we're in. As I said earlier, when we did Deanza, we had enormous savings in terms of what our estimate was there, and that was used to, the savings were used to fund another elementary school. The point I'm trying to make is that this is a very uncertain climate that we live in the sense that we're dealing with construction prices that we don't know where they're going to go, and we don't know where our assessed value is going to go. The only thing that we do know is we do know how much money the voters have approved, and what we're attempting to do is to build all of our schools to a standard that the board has approved with the resources that we have, recognizing that at the end of the program, we may not be able to get to every school without additional help from the voters. I think that's a fair estimate.
Well, I'm just, if the auditors did not use the term unfunded liability, then I would